So you traditionally play also standard too.
I play standard
So,
to complete daily quests. It's not really
oh,
my
okay.
my go-to format. I've gotten mythic on it on arena, but it's usually out of for fun and not for like being the format I enjoy. I've never once made a standard deck
Gotcha.
in paper.
What's your favorite format?
Draft, all the time.
Okay.
Various forms of it. Draft's a pretty, wide umbrella. I actually have a
Yeah.
video going out tomorrow of explaining you know, what is draft actually. I, obviously do it, but for beginners,
Mhm.
it's nice to have some things you can go look at and understand all the ins and outs of what people actually mean when they say stuff like limited or draft or some of the other
Right.
vocabulary.
Yeah, because there's a lot. I've only been playing Magic for about 2 years, but primarily Commander. That's what my buddy introduced me to and became obsessed.
It's funny because Commander is definitely one of, if not Magic's most popular format, most widespread format. But it's probably one of the worst ways to learn the game Magic the Gathering, even if
Yeah.
it's one of the most fun. I mean, it uses cards across all of Magic's history. It's got a
Mhm.
lot of unique cards in it that are only really for the format itself. It's one of the only formats that's more than two players and not head to head. It's the only format
Yeah.
that uses an 100 card deck, which is huge. So
Yes.
it's definitely, a very different experience of play than I would say traditional formats.
Hmm.
Funny enough, draft is probably one of the best ways to learn how to play Magic the Gathering
Hmm.
because of its low investment. You can try a lot of things at a very low price point, and then once you figure out what you actually like, commit to a more established format where it has a little bit more robust of a entry fee, essentially for the cards you'd have to buy and get into.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think I also grew as a player more from every time I do draft at my LGS.
Mm.
And probably my favorite set, having started with Takir, would ironically be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle one, just because I don't know, some of the mechanics in it flowed so well that it made me think of a standard format instead.
Yeah.
I the Raph and Mikey team up, or even Splinter with like doubling Ninja's abilities going off. I was like, ooh, this could be a lot of fun. Now I
Yeah.
want like 5 foot Ninja elites in the deck.
So TMNT has been a really, I would say, for draft especially, divisive format because on
Hmm.
one hand, the actual mechanics and gameplay super fun. On the other hand, it's something they've been doing recently where the sets are smaller, and for people who draft a lot, it means that the drafts can be very repetitive, and you also like see a
Yeah.
lot of the same cards in every draft. So, for someone like me, where if I like a format, I'm going to draft it like 60, 70, 80 times before it rotates. And that's not an exaggeration. Edge of
Right.
Eternities, which was a pretty recent one, I clocked over 80 drafts of it between Arena and in paper for my LGS.
That's awesome.
But that format
Uh,
had 10 supported archetypes right across all the color pairs, and it had a
yeah.
lot of ways that you could build decks. It was a very, malleable format. It was very, very splashable. You could do a lot of three-color decks. Even near the end of it, where I had done 70 plus drafts, I still felt like I was doing new stuff in that format. And with
Yeah.
Turtles, I've done 2 drafts of it on my channel so far, and I'm already feeling like I'm doing a lot of the same things, which is fine
Mhm.
because it's fun. Have you ever drafted Kamigawa or played Kamigawa Neon Dynasty?
I've only opened a few packs out of the rarity. My area is kind of like footloose with Magic the Gathering. It's banned in Walmart, it's banned in Target.
Mm-hmm.
The LGSs can only get certain amounts of modern stock, and I'm just like, I'm a slave to the A to Z and other marketplaces online that
Where you
are
can actually get hold of packs and do
right.
things.
And I'm just like, why? We get 30 people that come in to play during a commander night on a Wednesday
Mm-hmm.
during open format. And I don't even know for standard that because I can't get out of the house all the time for all the events. But if it's that popular, why are we removing it from everything? But
Yeah.
yet, Pokemon, Digimon stuff is all in there. I didn't even know Digimon still had a card game.
Oh, it does. It's
I was
You'd be
surprised.
surprised. The smaller card games have very strong followings. Digimon at my one of the first stores I started drafting at had regular Wednesday night meets. They were only 6 or 8 people, but it was every week they fired. It was kind of crazy. The reason I ask about Kamigawa is if you like how TMNT plays, if you like the
Mm-hmm.
mechanics that are in that set, Kamigawa is arguably one of the most fun draft formats ever. It's certainly in my top list, and it has some very similar mechanics. TMNT almost feels like a Kamigawa Neon Dynasty abridged in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Kamigawa Neon Dynasty had 10, it's a full set, so it had 10 supported color pairs, but some of the color pairs are direct mirrors of the color pairs in this set. So black red was artifacts, and it was kind of like a tokeny sacrifice your artifacts kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
There was, of course, ninjutsu and ninjas across all the colors, just like how sneak is across all the colors. But blue
Yeah.
black was like the dedicated ninja deck. Its signpost uncommon was a 2 mana 2/2 ninja that had ninjutsu for the same cost that made all of your ninjas +1/+1. So
Mm-hmm.
you could have multiple of those because they weren't legendary. So it was like I sneak in my ninja that makes all my other ninjas bigger. So now I win even the ninjas you blocked because now they're bigger. Really interesting format that also used enchantments because green white was the enchantments. So on one side you had artifacts, on the other side you had enchantments, and then I believe the black white deck in that format cared about having both an artifact and an enchantment in play. So you wanted to like make your deck so that it was like, okay, I put this pacifism on your creature, and then I play this artifact on mine and equip it. And then when I play this creature, because I control an artifact and an equipment, you lose 2 life, I gain 2 life, and I draw a card. So it made it so that if you like
Ooh,
correctly built your deck, you had some really fun plays that you could do with some of the commons and uncommons. So
nice.
it's also got some all-timer commander staples. You may be familiar with Fable of the Mirror Breaker, which is
Mm-hmm.
from, of course, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, but it's also where a whole bunch of what are now like core green-white artifact, or sorry, green-white enchantment cards came from that set. So a lot of really fun cards that you can open. I actually have multiple cards from that set in here because some of the artifacts are pretty good.
Nice.
All right.
I gotta hunt down a box of it eventually, but
All right. On my side, by the way, it says that we have one current viewer. I'm not really sure because we're co-hosting if there's like if you have your own stats. I'm just curious. I don't know what it looks
I
like on.
have 6 on my side.
Okay, because I see there's cool people in the chat. Hello.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty new to this whole going live TikTok thing. I'm predominantly over on YouTube. So hopefully a few of my cool friends will be able to join, but if they don't, they're going to watch the recording of this on YouTube,
Sweet.
which I know many of them were very excited seeing the deck build and kind of what we were doing, like what we assigned for our
Yeah.
commanders. Personally, I like using Commander as like a collaborative deck building experience. I usually build my decks while waiting for draft to start. So I'll put out all my cards and I'll compete. People come
Mm-hmm.
and give their opinions of like, oh, maybe this card or that card, and then I'll make trades with people live. Like, okay, well, I don't have that card, and they're like, oh, I have it in my binder. And then lo and behold, you end up trading with people and getting cool new cards for your collection.
There you go. Sounds like a good way to do it.
Yep, I'm all about trading. So, my name is the Vintage Cube Chef, which I don't know if you are you aware of what a cube is
I mean, the object, yes.
for Magic the Gathering specifically.
No.
So cube is like a custom draft format that you make and you own it. You have it in paper and then you use all the same sleeves for it. People can draft from it, and then you just collect all the cards at the end and you take it home with you. So it's like you can basically pop up and do a draft anywhere using your cube, and it costs nothing other than maintaining it, adding in cool new cards that you want. Vintage Cube
Huh.
is just a really famous version of Cube. I have my own version of Vintage Cube, but my Vintage Cube I traded for all the cards, so everything in it that isn't, absurdly expensive that I had to proxy because it's a Vintage Cube, which means it uses
Yeah.
cards from all the way back in Magic's history. So it has a Black Lotus in
Alpha.
it, for example.
Alpha and stuff. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, but it's not a real Black Lotus because I'm
Right.
not crazy. But other than those cards that you basically have to proxy unless you're a millionaire, everything else I got by trading with friends and stuff I opened in drafts.
Nice.
Do we want to get into the commander side of things?
However you want to do it, bud. I'm just
Yeah, I
excited
mean,
to
I'm
play. Which, by the way, too, I will say, if there's anything you're looking for trades, just hit me up because
yeah,
I got
I
a square
got
in my binder. But
I got a sick binder. I will say, I've played a lot of draft, and you open a lot of things, and then when you don't play a lot of other formats other than commander, uh,
yeah,
cool cards pile up.
yeah,
All right, well, I guess I'll do a little bit of an introduction because you have a few more people on your side of the ball than I have on mine at the moment, which is a-okay. But I'm the Vintage Cube Chef. I'm predominantly over on YouTube. I do a lot of stuff for draft. That is my format of choice. But I've been going on TikTok to kind of move some of my cool clips from draft and exciting things like that over to TikTok since I already do it for YouTube Shorts. And in doing so, I ran into this cool guy, got spun on his wheel for his Commander Challenge, and figured, why not? That sounds like a lot of fun. So the Commander deck I got assigned was Balthier and Fran. They are a 3-mana 4/3 reach that cares about vehicles. Essentially, they give all of my vehicles a little bit of a bonus stats, and they have vigilance. And then if a vehicle that they crewed attacks, I can pay red, green, and 1 to have a second combat this turn. It can only be done once, and it has to be a vehicle they crewed. But since they give all my vehicles vigilance, it means that basically all my cards get to hit twice. And this deck is aptly named Vehicular Manslaughter, because the goal is to play a bunch of cards and then, no offense to the wonderful Magic the Gathering chef, hit them with him. Uh, so that's the plan over here.
So on my side, I'm MTG Chef too. Um, I just really love Magic the Gathering in this community. I was inspired by so many of the fun creators, Deceptic, MTG, Mana and Mayhem, and a couple of them that I started making my own content. Wanted to reach out and get to know you guys more, so I came up with some crazy ideas of a wheel spin and D20 dice roll to give bulk stuff away, and then doing this blind commander challenge to get people out of their comfort zone and build something different than what they would normally have. So the idea was commander cards that were under $10, build a level 2-ish kind of like deck, and just have some fun. Mine, you sent me, was Agar, Freezing Flame. So this is all about casting spells for buff ups to smack down, and if you get to do any extra excess killing, you get to draw a card. So
A little bit of overkill fun.
yeah, so I'm gonna name it after one of my favorite My Hero guys, Icy Hot,
Nice.
and we'll see if it's gonna play hot or cold today.
Awesome. I have some funly named cards based off of our challenge in this deck. I think you posted a thing that included a little sneak peek of that as well. And then the other little fun caveat for my deck is every card in this deck was either traded for or drafted. So I did not purchase any cards. It all came from either my bulk or when I sit down before a draft and put out my commander deck. People come up and they go, "Ooh, have you considered this card?" And then you end up trading for it. So there's a lot of really cool cards in here. I'm going to be completely honest, I do not know the price point of this deck because it comes all from trading and bouncing around, but it is absolutely power level 2, no game changers, and a whole bunch of jank.
Same, mine, except this is all just random bulk that I've been going through.
Perfect.
So yeah,
There are some pretty splashy cards in here. I've been drafting a long time, and I really hope I draw it in one of our games here, but my I'm glad you chose red-green because there's a red card that I put in every commander deck that it can go in. That is my favorite commander card ever printed for Magic. And if we don't end up playing it, I will pull it out of the deck and show you because it is just so much fun. But it's going to be a little bit of a surprise until it comes up because it's a silly card.
Awesome.
All right. We want to roll for it?
Let's do it.
I got 2d6. You got 2d6? Oh, a d20. Let's do it. I got a 2. A humble 2.
I got an 8.
All right. Looks like it's all you.
All right. Let's start this off.
2.
5, 6, 7. Ooh. I am gonna mulligan. I got 1 land.
As am I. I got a 1 land that doesn't even tap for mana.
Oh.
So that's probably not a keeper. I'm curious if people can guess in this red-green deck what land I would have that is quite literally a no-lander by itself. We'll try that.
Honestly, you got me puzzled.
There's a couple good answers to this, a couple legal answers. I'm curious how commander savvy our audience here is.
I think I could. No, Bootlegger Stash is not. That's not land though.
No, that is the enchantment from New Capenna, one of my all-time favorite sets as well. That makes it so all your lands gain the additional ability to tap and make a treasure. So you can basically always turn your excess mana into a treasure at the end of whoever's passing to use turn. Pretty fun card. It was quite expensive when the set came out, but it's not as common in Commander anymore. I think it's 6 mana, which is a pretty high price to pay for something that just generates more mana.
Yeah.
I say that, but, Vorinclex is in a lot of green decks, so... I'm keeping this. Are we mulliganing down to 6, or are we just keeping the 7?
Keeping the 7. And
All
I'm
right.
going to keep mine as well.
All right, let's rock and roll.
I'm going to start us off with a Baron Airship Kingdom coming in tapped. And pass.
All right. I will draw. I'm going to play a Humble Scalding Tarn. There's nothing too splashy in here, but there are a couple fetches to go get. Stomping Ground.
Nice.
That's to you.
And untap, draw.
Gotta have good mana.
I will.
Is that the Final Fantasy Duel land?
It is.
I recognize the name. I couldn't quite place it when you said it the first time.
I will tap 2 for Spiderbot.
Spiderbot?
Well, that's that. It's going to be janky. It's going to be a little bit weird.
All right, well, you search your library for a basic, because I'm pretty sure that's what that does. It puts it on top.
Yeah.
I'm going to just crack a Scalding Tarn here, lose a life, and go get a tapped Stomping Ground. Oh, you know what? Better than Stomping Ground. I think I put in this deck, there's a, what's it called? There's a tapped land that's like an artifact land, but it's a mountain and a forest, so it's fetchable. There it is. It's not an artifact land. Wooded Ridgeline. Literally all it is it's a mountain forest that enters tapped.
Nice.
Also, I dropped like 2 cards in my attempts to filter my library. Grab that real quick.
Especially with the new sleeves and everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, these are actually, I have the opposite problem. These are pretty well worn sleeves, so they've got a little bit of tack to them.
Ah.
All right. What land did you go get? Island or mountain?
Island.
Very well. I would offer cut normally, but I shall not here. I will untap, upkeep, draw. Ooh, decisions. Yeah, let's give you something to kill. I'm going to tap 2 for Fanatic of Ronus. It's a
Okay.
2 mana 1/4 that taps for a green. And if I control a creature with power 4 or greater, it taps for quadruple green.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
he's a regular old mana dork unless I have other creatures on the board already. And I'll pass it over to you.
Tap. Draw into that island.
This is a
Play
very,
that island.
very killable creature.
I am going to tap all three and bring out my commander.
Oh, Agar's here.
Agar's here. And then I will pass turn.
All right, all right. Let's see if we can do some good things here. I'm gonna play a land, and I'm gonna cast my commander. And they conveniently have 4 power. And therefore this fanatic shall tap for quadruple green. I won't be able to use all of it, because that's a lot of green and not a lot of red. But I will play this Birds of Paradise and a Nature's Lore to go get a forest and put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. So I will go do that, and unfortunately I have an extra green I can't use, so it will just float away, and I'll pass it over to you.
Okay.
You gave me a red-green deck, and a red-green deck is gonna ramp. That is what it
That's a
does.
solid play.
Do I have something to do with the mana? We'll find out. But for now, we shall ramp.
Play another island.
Just me looking for a forest. Oh, that's right. I have a surveil land in this deck. Commercial District. It's a dual land that's fetchable that just lets me surveil one when it enters. I'll do that.
I'm going to tap for a blue and my red here, and I am going. Well, actually, I don't even have to pay for the red. I just need to pay for the blue because it's my turn. I will play a mental modulation and
Okay.
tap your commander.
Oh,
Cost one less
okay.
during my turn. And I get the draw card.
It doesn't
will-
untap, you said?
It just taps it for now.
All right. That's allowed. That's allowed.
Right? But that also gives the prowess ability. He does not have that. Okay.
Nah, he wants you to kill things. Commit war crimes.
I already played a
All right,
land.
this feels sufficiently shuffled.
I will swing with Spider-Bot and Agar.
For a total of
5.
I shall take 5 down to 34. These are not spin downs. I used my D&D dice, which should have thought about. And I have 3 Agar damage. Although I really doubt that's how you win. I'm going to keep it in mind. You never know.
You never know. I will pass turn.
That's suspicious. It's very suspicious of you passing turn. May I ask, good friend, how many cards you have in hand?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to tap for 4 green and 1 red. And I said that my favorite card of all time for Commander is in this deck, and I did draw it. So we're going to play it here. This is Mindclaw Shaman. Are you familiar with the glory that is Mindclaw Shaman?
No, but it sounds like I want to counter it.
Well, I'll read it to you, and then you're going to counter it. It's a 5 mana 2/2 Vishino Shaman that says when it enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals their hand. I choose an instant or sorcery from it and cast it for free.
Yep. I'm going to pay 2 for a divert disaster.
Uh-huh.
You're going to probably pay the extra 2 and I'll get a lander token.
Oh, it's an optional counterspell. Well, I do just kind of want to see what's in your hand, so I shall pay the 2.
Okay. I'm going to treat that as the lander token. And
Yep.
Just put it there.
Make a little lander action. I love landers. That's from Edge of Eternities. Okay, that's a creature. Can't cast it. Dire Downfall. Target creature's owner puts it on the top or bottom. All right. We got a land and a shore up. Okay. Well, I guess I'll cast your target creature's owner puts it on top or bottom. And I'm going to choose Mr. Agar himself. which, because it's changing zones, I do believe you still can choose to put it in your command zone if that's where you'd prefer to put it.
But then that's going to end up. Well, would there be a command tax on that?
There would. Anytime you choose to put in the command zone from whatever zone it's going to, it still costs an additional 2 to cast. Because the tax actually happens when you cast the commander.
Oh, I should have done that differently too. I should have played my mana otherwise. Because then I could have just shored up on that and hexproofed it.
I'm fine if you want to walk that one back. That's fine with me. So
Sure?
I choose the one that makes you put Agar top or bottom, and then you shore it up.
And I will play the 1, so I will put a +1/+1 on him and give him hexproof.
Oh, is shore up a 1/1
the
counter,
turn.
or is it 1/1 until end of turn?
Gets +1/+1 gains safer until end of turn. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the other one.
Oh, don't worry. That is a draft staple. I've played many a shore up to devastating effect, so I'm quite familiar with that one. All right, well, you've sufficiently prevented me from doing what I wanted to do, but Mindclaw Shaman did its job, which is it got rid of your removal spell. And so we'll follow up with using my Birds of Paradise and then the 2 remaining mana. I shall cast Poetic Ingenuity. Poetic Ingenuity is from Ixalan, and this card doesn't seem like it belongs in the deck, but I promise it works great. Whenever 1 or more dinosaurs I control attack, of which I have none, I make a treasure. And whenever I cast an artifact spell, I make a 3/1 dinosaur, but only once per turn. So the idea here is my deck is full of vehicles, allegedly, and whenever I cast them, I make dinosaurs, and then when my dinosaurs attack, I make treasures.
Oh my god. You're going to commit vehicular manslaughter
That
with
is the
dinosaurs
plan.
driving cars.
And because Agar is untapped and I like my commander being alive, I shall just pass.
Okay. 1 tap. Agar loses his +1.
Indeed he does. Indeed he does.
That. And then let's draw. I'll play another island. Let's have 2 islands and a red for Tempest Angler.
Yeah, what's that guy do?
So he has, whenever I cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on him.
Oh. That
So-
seems problematic for the red-blue spells deck.
He's only a 2/2 though. He doesn't,
Oh, okay, that's fair and balanced. I like it.
you know. Now, these tokens. I am gonna crack the other 2 mana I have to sacrifice the lander token
Yep.
to then search for a basic land card and put on the battlefield tapped. At which point I will pass my turn to you.
All right. You know what would be really good here? A vehicle. I would really like to draw what a very large percentage of this deck is made up of, which is cars. That is not a vehicle. It is a funny card in this situation, but it is not a vehicle.
I will cast.
I will cast.
Guys were riding.
I will
car
cast Manifold Key. Manifold Key is a 1 mana artifact that I can pay 1 and tap it to untap another target artifact. So, I can give my vehicles double vigilance. But more importantly, I can pay 3 and tap it to make a creature unblockable this turn. So it's kind of like a Escape Tunnel or the various lands that do that, but it's on an artifact.
Okay.
And because it's on an artifact, when I cast this spell, I shall make a dinosaur. I don't have a dinosaur, unfortunately, so this rebel will have to do. It's a 3/1 dinosaur red creature is what this guy is right here. Yeah. What is the stats on that spider bot?
2/1 with reach.
That is quite annoying. I think I'm just gonna pass here.
Okay. Going to untap, draw. Okay. what are, and you said you got a 1/4 that keeps tapping for a crazy amount of mana.
Oh
Got
yeah,
Birds
I
of
got mana.
Paradise 0/1. Your favorite doesn't do much of anything else right now.
Just a 2/2. It did its
Your
job.
okay. Um, I think I'm gonna play an airship engine room. Comes in tapped and
Nice.
count as blue or red, and then for 4 tap it, sacrifice, draw a card.
That sounds like the Avatar land.
It is. That is.
I played a lot of that
Um,
set. Like, too much of that set. I did a
yeah.
bronze to mythic run on my channel, all draft of all Avatar.
Nice.
It was a lot of drafts.
It was a really fun set, and it made me rewatch the show again. And I appreciate it for that more.
I do still need to watch Korra, but I have watched the original series and it was very good.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. I gotta. I think I watched the first season of Korra. I need to go back to it.
Many of my friends have bullied me for not yet watching Korra.
I'm gonna tap 2. I think the best thing for me to do here is to play suplex and do 3 damage to your Birds of Paradise.
I see what you're trying to do here. You're trying to draw a card off of
Yes.
Agar. Well, I have a response to that then.
Okay.
I Because I control a creature with power 4 or greater, this spell costs 1 red, but I would have been able to pay for it anyway. I have like infinite mana right now. I am gonna bolt bend your suplex, which makes absolutely no sense at all. But I am going to redirect that onto your guy that gets bigger.
That sucks.
Assuming
Okay.
suplex can target a creature I don't control. Is it 3 damage to target creature or target creature an opponent controls?
Suplex deals 3 damage to target creature.
All right,
And
then
if
I
it would
can
die, it
pick.
gets exiled.
I can pick
So,
that guy.
so he will get exiled.
Indeed,
I'll
he
put him off
will.
on the side there. Um, that puts an entire damper. I will pass.
All right, I really need to find a way to use all this mana I have created. Okay, that does not help me here either. I think I am going to pay 3 and tap my Manifold Key. And I am going to make my 3/1 dinosaur unblockable this turn. And then I'm
Okay.
going to go to combat and swing at you with a 3/1 unblockable dinosaur and make a treasure off of Poetic Ingenuity because Lord knows I need more mana.
So I will go down to 37.
And then I shall pass.
I will untap. Draw. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4 attempt
Oh, that's
to
large.
tap and sacrifice my
Oh.
land so I can draw a card.
Yeah, I got nothing for that.
Okay. Draw. Didn't give me anything I needed. I will play an island for the turn and have to pass again.
All right. Playing a slow little game here. Oh, silly deck. Why do you do this to me? All right. I'll untap, upkeep, and draw this card. And this card is Cultivate. I'll go get 2 lands, 1 to play tapped, 1 to play untapped because I'll play it as my land to turn. We'll do a tapped mountain and an untapped forest. And then you'll never guess what I'm going to do here. I'm going to pay 3. I'm actually going to make my commander unblockable, the 4/3.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go to combat and swing with my unblockable commander 4/3 and my 3/1 dinosaur and make a second treasure. The dinosaur is blockable if you so desire.
I will block the dinosaur with Spider-Bot.
No more dino, but one less spider bot.
Yeah.
And then I shall humbly pass my turn.
But 4 commander and put me down to 33. Alright, let's untap. Draw.
Something a little
One.
splashy would be nice.
2 and 3 for a Cyclops superconductor.
What they do?
2/2. He comes in. He gets 3 energy. When
Oh.
he dies, I can pay the 3 energy, and he does damage equal to his power to any target. He also has prowess.
Is he by chance a wizard or giant?
He is a wizard.
Oh, I see what's happening here.
Yes, he is, Harry.
Agar things.
Agar things.
Anything else on your side?
Yes. Let's see.
Oh.
It's only gonna help temporarily, but I might as well. I'm gonna pay 1 to play Impolite Entrance on him, which will give him trample and haste on the turn and allow me to draw a card.
That's a pretty new one.
Yeah, that's from Lorwyn. Okay, so now he's a 3/3 trample haste. I already played a land for the turn. So I have full access to the rest of this. And what you have your 1/4 guy out there, Birds of Paradise.
140122 are my blockers.
Okay, I'm gonna pay 2 for a no, you know what? I'm not going to. Let's just swing out with the 3 of them.
Oh.
Or the 2 of them. Sorry.
I shall block your wizard. No. We'll block Agar with Fanatic of Ronus, and I'll just take the rest. Just so you're aware, Fanatic of Ronus has 1 extra ability, because of course it does, which is from the graveyard, I can pay 4 mana and exile it to make a copy of him that's a 4/4.
Ew.
Yeah,
Okay.
Eternalize. It's a strong throwback from Amonkhet. Someone in chat will correct me. Oh, is here. He will correct me. When was Eternalize printed? And am I right in it being Amonkhet?
While we're waiting on that, I will pass turn to you.
Yeah.
Keep watch.
All right. Let's see what we got. Well, that is absolutely a card I wanted to see. Is it, actually? Thinking. Yeah, we might as well try to cast it. I shall tap for quadruple green and a singular red for Karlach. Karlach? Fury of Avernus. This is from the Dungeons and Dragons set and one of the titular characters of Baldur's Gate 3, which I put way too much time into. And they say, whenever you attack, if it's the first combat, you may untap all your creatures, they gain first strike, and then you get a second combat.
Ew. Okay.
Yep, they are one of the finishers of this deck, although we're really lacking on vehicles for our vehicle deck here. I'm going to go to combat. Hilariously, the only things I have I can swing with are Mindclaw Shaman, which is a 2/2, and my Commander, which is a 4/3. And so that is what I shall be swinging with. And because it is my first time attacking, Karlach will trigger, and I will untap them and give them first strike, and I get 1 more combat this turn.
Well, hang on.
So
As they go into their first combat, I will tap 2, and I will play Sculpting Blast to return your commander to your hand.
Oh,
and I get a 1/1 draw.
Tapping, you make a 1/1. Oh. I shall bounce my commander to my hand. You'll never know where it is. You can't tell, of course.
And then they'll have me take 2 from the first combat with him, and then I'm assuming you're going to swing again for another 2.
Oh, you know it. And then
Go
in
for
my
it.
second main phase, this may be shocking, but I'm going to play this card I just drew, which is my commander. Don't have to pay commander text because they were in my hand. And I shall pass.
Yeah. Okay.
And mana is not our issue today.
Oof.
Even
Well,
after all that, I still have 6 mana up.
yeah, it's good. Same Z's over here. I'm gonna play this beautiful island.
Very nice, very
and
nice.
Pass.
And pass?
Yeah.
Oh, did your wizard get a 1/1 counter from casting an instant or sorcery, or is that prowess?
It's prowess.
Ah,
so
okay.
It's only the end of turn.
I shall draw. Very funny deck. Very funny. All right. Well, I'm going to attempt to do the thing here. I will play a tapped Stomping Ground. And then I shall go to combat. And I shall swing with Karlak, the Mindclaw Shaman, and my commander. And then Karlak will trigger, and I will untap my creatures, assuming that that trigger happens.
I am going to block your commander, though.
Okay, they do have first strike.
Okay. I will block him with the 1/1 Thopter.
Is that a 1/1 drone from Edge of Eternities?
Yeah, becomes a 1/1 drone artifact creature.
I do believe
Like,
it can
only
block
creatures with
creatures
flying.
with
Son of a
flying from Edge.
biscuit. Okay. So never mind.
The benefits
This
of
is
being
gonna
a
save you a
limited
lot of
junkie.
Okay, so that was 4 plus 6
It will be a
Maybe 2
total
there.
of 11 for these 3
Twice.
creatures, but then they'll get to attack twice.
Ugh. Okay, so let's take the first. Get me up to 8. And okay, the rest of that. Let's just take off the 11 from here. So bring me down to 18, and then the next time you're attacking, I'm gonna have to block your commander with both of these.
All right. With my first strike damage, I shall kill Agar.
Okay. So then you're going to take 2 from Cyclops, but when he dies, I will spend that energy to do the 2 damage to your commander.
Very well. My commander is no more, and we will put it in the command zone.
Which still leaves me taking 7, so that should put me down to a total of 11. And all I got is a little Thopter and flying around in a wizard deck. So,
And I shall pass.
heart of the car, you son of a biscuit.
I'm going to be really sad if with how many vehicles are in this deck, I think there's 17 or 18 vehicles in this deck. There might be more if we don't draw one in this entire game.
I'm going to play another mountain.
Got a vehicle.
We're just going to tap the 3 there, plus the extra 2, so that would pay the whole 5 to bring out Agar again. And
Agar's
I
here.
have to pass turn.
All right. We shall draw. Well, I didn't draw a vehicle, but the card I did draw is kind of funny. I'll play a land for turn. I'm going to cast Start Your Engines. The first part of this text doesn't matter at all, although it's a really good card in this deck. Vehicles you control become creatures until end of turn, and then creatures you control get +2/+0 until end of turn. So it makes it so all the vehicles I hypothetically would have in play, which currently is somehow none, would become creatures and then get buffed. But with Karlach in play and my ability to manifold key my Karlach to make them unblockable, I'm gonna guess this is gonna be a pretty hard to survive turn. You might have some tricks. Do you have responses before I go to combat?
Good game.
All right.
Yeah. I had an island in hand.
Ah.
So 11 left.
That was.
I got 2 mana blessed.
So I tested this deck out a couple of times. I will say one of the problems I never ran into was not hitting a vehicle. I actually had the opposite problem often, which is I had a lot of vehicles and not a lot of ways to crew them. So maybe we'll see the other side of the deck here. I do believe we're playing a couple games, flush it out, see how the decks play, get to see more cards.
Right. Try and get a couple people here. Get you a little more content than just a quick, beat him
I'm
with
here
a
to have
frying pan.
fun. But I do actually, if we could talk a little bit about Magic now that we've seen our decks, and we can talk a little bit more about the game itself. So you said you got into doing all this because you watched a lot of cool streamers, and it kind of got you kickstarted with it. Your first set was Tarkir. Did friends get you into Tarkir because of the dragons? Did you pick it because it just seemed like a fun one to jump in on? Why Tarkir?
It was because of the dragons. So my literal introduction back in the Magic after years of not playing. I played once back in middle school, which is way too long ago. I played with my buddy. His son decided to be a little bit of a jerk. And while I had that green and white elf precon that when you tap, you create a 1/1 soldier.
Yeah.
3 cost. Yeah, they both decided to play their proxied Tiamat with Dracogenesis since it just came out on the set. So I'm making 1/1 little guys, and they're making 5/6 dragons that are all like 8+s, buffs, and all this stuff. And I'm like, I attack you with a toothpick. So
What?
It was trial by curb stomp.
So what commander decks do you actually pilot right now? What is your current repertoire look like?
So I'm in a tournament right now, one with Magic Addict, and I'm playing a Lightning Voltron deck.
Oh, fun. I played against the Lightning deck not too long ago at my LGS.
Put it that way, or what have you. I have my camera flipped for me. I absolutely love it, and one of my favorite things I did, I had a turn where I had Twin Flame Tyrant out. I had it equipped with Sword of Feast and Famine.
Twin Flame
Swung at a
Tyrant
guy
is double damage.
Yes, and then Lightning has her static.
Yep.
Which doubles all damage that she does. With her lifelink and everything equipped, she hit for 12 damage. But then I got to untap all my lands. I had 6 of them there, and because she hit for 12 damage, I also had the Reaver Cleaver equipped to her, so that's how she got up to the 6.
Oh my
Did the
goodness.
+2 from that. I made 12 treasure tokens. I tried to equip Super State to her, which gives her a base stat of 9/9 and does damage to everyone equally. The guy countered, so I played Chandra's Ignition. It blew up the whole field, killed like 9 creatures, including my own Twin Flame. Did like 30 damage almost to everybody's face around the board. I went up over 250 health. And then I tapped the remaining 6 mana that untap for a Mardu, the nasty Minotaur that gives you another battle phase when you play a land.
Oh, Morog.
Morok or something.
Yeah, landfall. If it's your main
Morok.
phase, you get another combat. That's a very,
Yep.
very familiar card because it's in this deck.
Yeah. I absolutely love him. He's nasty. So, and then I was like, all right, pass turn. And they're all like, great, let's just start another game.
You want to roll for this one, or do
Um,
you just want to go first?
I think I'm gonna go first after that.
Sure.
Manslaughter without a vehicle.
I really would like to have found a car, because if you do vehicle or manslaughter without a car, I think it's just manslaughter,
Yeah.
which I try to avoid.
It's,
All right, this is keepable. I could do this.
uh, my mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes.
Well, while you muse over your deck, I joined Magic off of War of the Spark.
Yeah.
I saw like those trailers with like Liliana and Gideon and all those cool characters, and I was like, I could play that. And I had played a different
Yeah.
game called Hearthstone for a really long time, and I was starting to get out of it because
Hearthstone was good.
I didn't like the direction it was headed. It was I played when it was like amazing, and then
Mhm.
it started to get a little too random. Like control decks basically were completely based off of randomly generated cards that you add to your deck or you add to your hand, and it got a little too non-strategic for me in the way I play. So I switched over to Magic around there, and then of course
Mm.
COVID hit. So I did War of the Spark, did my first pre-release with Core 2019 or 2020, and then took a break and came back with Midnight Hunt after COVID had kind of mostly cleared through, and I've been playing straight through ever since, almost exclusively Draft and a little bit of Commander. So, all right, you kept it, or are you mulliganing it?
I am actually mulliganing.
Ah,
Yeah.
wiser minds prevail.
Shuffling mulliganing real quick.
Wiser minds prevail. Yeah, I've been straight drafting. I
That's
go.
not bad.
I usually go at least once a week to my LGS, but the one I play at right now and the one I used to play at as well also had off day drafts. So they had Friday Night Magic, of course, F&M, but then they also had like a Wednesday draft. So if I really
Mhm.
like a set, I actually draft it twice a week in paper. So like Edge of Eternities, played a ton of Edge of Eternities. A little bit of a mix for Avatar, Lorewyn, which I had fun with, but had some pros and cons for drafting in paper a ton for those sets. And then you know every set I make those decisions of like, is this a set I'm going to go twice a week for? Or is it going to be once a week? Am I going to maybe take a break for this set, play some other
Yeah.
Commander, Cube, other fun things like that? All right,
So, all right, I'm gonna keep this hand.
rock and
Start us
roll, man.
off. Draw. I'm gonna play a crossroads. As it comes in, I'm gonna declare it as blue,
Very
and
well.
it'll come in tap. Bastard.
All right. Well, I'm going to play a forest and everybody's favorite turn one in Commander, Llanowar Elves. It's a classic for a reason. And I'll pass it on
Ooh.
over.
Draw. Tap that. So, which sets would you say are your favorite, and which would be your least favorite?
Of
Play 'em
all
now.
time for drafting, that's a
Yeah.
pretty big range. Um,
Who would be your top one, and which would be your worst?
yeah, top for all time drafting formats, I really enjoy Kamigawa and I really enjoy New Capenna. They're sets that I played a lot of when I was first starting out, so they have nostalgia for me personally. And then the formats
Okay.
themselves are a lot of fun.
Mhm.
For the bottom, uh, there's been a lot of real sets I personally haven't clicked with, but it's actually become kind of a joke in our group about how much I dislike this set. And it's Crimson Vow. It's Innistrad Crimson Vow.
Mhm.
The entire format devolved into two decks, which was because there were a ton of rares at approximately 7 mana that just won the game. Like you played them, you resolved them, they were basically insurmountable. And so all decks turned into two things. If you opened one of those rares, you were a full control deck just trying to make it to you 7 mana and play your card that just won the game. And if you weren't a person that opened one of those rares, Your entire deck was just aggro because you had to kill them before they got to 7 mana, or you just kind of lost. And so, people will argue that wasn't necessarily the case. I played a decent amount of the set, and man, did that feel like every round was like, oh, you opened Hullbreaker Horror? Okay, I need to kill you by turn 7, or if you resolve that, I just lose. And that was very frustrating as a person that drafts a lot. So I would say that's pretty close to the bone. There's a lot of stinkers, unfortunately. Just the nature of draft. You play a lot of things, but the beauty of draft is sets rotate. You get to play with new things quickly. So, especially now, where we get like 7 sets a year.
Yeah, I'll pass turn to you.
You'll pass turn to me. Ominous 2 mana open. Surely that couldn't be anything. Well, I'll bite. I'll play a Mossfire Valley. And we'll do green of Greatness. This is an enchantment that says at the beginning of my upkeep, I may cast a permanent from my hand if that permanent is exactly 1 more in mana cost than the biggest permanent I have in play. So right now my biggest permanent is 2, which means next turn at my upkeep, if I have a 3-drop in my hand, I can cast it for free. If I don't, I get to scry 1.
I like that one. I want
It's
to put
a
that in my
funky little card.
That is.
And then
I run a Goreclaw deck on Arena. Sorry. So I run a Goreclaw deck in real life and on Arena, and that would be fantastic.
Yep, play Goreclaw, drop a 5-drop, do all the fun things. I'm going to pass my turn. Also, in our first game, if you were here for it, Mossfire Valley was the card I was talking about that is a land that technically taps for nothing. It doesn't tap for anything unless you pay 1 into it, and then you get red-green.
Gotcha.
So by itself, it taps for nada.
I don't want that yet. I'm going to play another mountain.
Very well.
I think what I'd like to do is I'm going to tap all 3. And I'm going to play a Mysidian Elder.
Oh.
Make my little 0/1 Black Wizard.
Oh, Final Fantasy. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, that wizard pings me, right?
Yep.
All right. I shall untap. Unfortunately, I do not have a 3-drop, but I really wanted to scry, so I'm going to scry. How interesting. How interesting of a card to be on top of my library. I will scry that to the bottom, and then draw for turn. That's a much better card to be on top of my library, because it's a land. I shall tap the mana I have available to me, minus my Llanowar Elves, for my commander. 3 mana, 4/3. And it's a 0/1 wizard, and then what's the stats on the other guy?
1/3.
Oh, 1/3. Woof. Well, then I'm passing. My elves want to live.
Okay. Tap, draw. I'll play an island. I'm going to tap 2. And I'm going to play Iroh's Demonstration. And I will choose to do 4 damage to your commander.
I didn't need him anyway, I guess.
I'll ping you for the 1.
To 39 I go.
And then I might as well swing at you with the 1/3/2.
I will go to 38.
And I will pass turn.
Which is somewhere on those dice. Aha. Alright, well, I still don't have a 3-drop. So I shall scry 1. That can stay. That can stay. I will shock in a Stomping Ground, going to 36. And with 5 mana available to me, I shall play Fanatic of Ronus for 2. You're familiar with this guy.
Oh, yeah.
And then for an additional 2, tapping like this, I shall play Lightning Greaves.
Okay.
And then I shall move to equip on my Fanatic to give it Shroud and Haste.
Okay.
And then I shall pass it a turn.
And not swing. Okay.
Nope.
Interesting.
I want that mana. And you seem to have tricky combat things that I want nothing to do with.
It's all shenanigans.
Tricky combat things I want nothing to do with.
I'll play an island. I think we're going to tap 2 blue and 3 for a Disruptor of Currents. And when that comes in, I can return up to one other non-land permanent to your hand.
What would you like it to be? It can be anything but the Fanatic.
Right. I think just to slow things down, in case you hit that, whatever drop there, we're going to do that enchantment.
In Search of Greatness goes to hand.
And I will pass turn.
Remind me, Disruptor of Currents is a 3/3?
Yes.
It is. All right.
3/3 Merfolk Wizard.
I shall play a land for turn. What does a land mean? Well, a land means that I shall cast using everything but Stomping Ground and the Fanatic, my commander. They are back. I paid 5. They have 4 power. So Fanatic is now online. Using Fanatic's so much green, I shall cast the Weatherlight. The Weatherlight is a flying 4/5 vehicle with crew 3 that says whenever it deals combat damage to you, I look at the top 5 and I may reveal a historic card from among them. Historic card is a artifact, legendary, or saga. I'm sure you can guess what I'm looking for most of the time with that.
Right.
I shall crew my humble Weatherlight. And you're probably thinking, hey, that don't have haste. And you're right, which is why we moved the boots, or the greaves, over to it before combat here. So that it does have haste. And then with my booted flying car, we shall commit our first vehicular manslaughter of somehow our commander games. And I shall swing in the air for 4.
I have to take it.
And then it triggers, and I get to look at the top 5 and put a historic permanent from among them. Bad, 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 bad. Hilarious. I miss. That was 4 lands for the record, which I'm actually kind of happy to just be putting on the bottom. Because if I had scryed 5, I probably would have put all 5 on the bottom. So I basically just scryed 5. And for good measure, no, I don't think I will. But what I will do is I am going to move my boots with the fur to my commander. Because at the end of my turn, this vehicle will no longer be a creature, and the boots would have fallen off.
Okay.
And then I'll pass.
Well, untap. draw. Interesting.
I feel
Play
like
a
I'm very
mountain.
flowy. Land for turn.
I'm going to tap a mountain and an island in a reverse way there for a Stormcatcher Mentor. Haste, Prowess, and instant sorcery spells I cast cost one less.
That card's scary. That's a commander staple.
Since you are open, I am just going to swing out with everything but obviously my token. So that will be 5.
It will be 5. I go to 31.
And I will pass.
It's a lot of mana you got open, and all of your instants and sorceries cost 1 less.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to move this over here so I remember that it counts as a blue and that you can also see how the 4 mana I have left divides.
I'm going to play this tap land for turn and muse over my options. I think no matter what, I'm starting off by strangling your I have everything cost 1 less otter? Bird?
Aw, otter. You're going to strangle an otter?
War crimes. Vehicular manslaughter.
He's just Thor as an otter.
He is. And then I am going to, I do believe, crew the Weatherlight with my commander.
Okay.
I shall attempt to move the boots over to the Weatherlight.
Oh. Okay.
Is that good?
That's...
I had a feeling there were suspicious things happening over there.
Before you do that, in response, I was going to tap 4 and actually bounce that back.
To my hand, top or bottom?
Top or bottom?
Top or bottom. I am going to put the Weatherlight on top. It's a pretty good card in this deck, I think.
And that'll do 1 damage to you because of the token.
It keeps doing that. I'd really prefer if it didn't. Okay. Well, I'm not in combat yet because you had to do that when I tried to equip the boots, so I still have a main phase here. And therefore I shall use it. This is still quadruple green. Although I would have been able to cast it anyway, even if I only had the restrictive mana. And I'm going to tap slightly differently so that I'm leaving up not the one that has to pay into it to get its mana. And I'm going to cast another car. Shocking, I'm sure. This is Thunderhawk Gunship. So, cars that fly. From the Warhammer set. And it is a 6 mana 6/6 flying. And when it enters, it makes a 2/2. It makes two 2/2s. It cruises.
What's its... Okay.
And then whenever it attacks, attacking creatures get flying.
Dang. Okay.
So I shall crew my big, giant Thundership Gunhawk, and then attempt to put the boots with the fur on the Gunhawk. I guess it's kind of just worthwhile. I shall swing for 6 in the air and 1 in the air with my Lana War Elves because it gets flying when the gunship attacks. For a total of 7.
So I was at 16, so you're going to put me down to 9.
So 29?
29. Sorry.
And then this last card in my hand is the In Search of Greatness that you bounced, and I shall cast it. And I am now hellbent. No cards in hand. I'll organize my board for you, but I shall pass after moving the boots back to my commander since the flying ship will have them fall off if I don't.
Okay.
We got Mana Dorks here. Commander. Non-crewed vehicle here. And the 2/2 warriors that the gunship came with.
Let's have all those. We'll draw.
Did you get any of the precons for Warhammer by any chance?
I didn't. I missed out on that.
I
I
won
honestly,
one. That's the only reason I got one.
they seem like they're absolutely fantastic. So I
I,
wanted
for
to
a
get.
while, was trying to build a CDH deck of the Esper commander from
Mhm.
the Warhammer deck, Marnius Calgar. Also, pretty big name for Warhammer.
3 and a blue, and I will play uh, wandering wander wine distractor, which whenever it becomes tapped, target creature an opponent controls gets -3, -0 until the end of turn.
Very well.
You're open, so I'm just gonna swing at you for 4.
I have a singular 2/2 that is untapped.
Oh.
If that changes your attacks,
No, no, that's fine. The 3/3 and the 1/3, so.
I shall bounce with the 1/3,
Okay.
and I'll take the 3 to the dome. Can't do nothing about it. I
And I
fall
will
to 27.
pass. I'll pass and I'll ask you too as you're doing that. What do you feel about all of these secret layers, especially of the universes Unbound? Because I am a huge Marvel fan. I love my Black Panther, Wolverine deck. Deadpool was hilariously great.
Yeah, for my perspective, as an absolutely avid drafter, I care more than anything else that the sets that are made are fun for the format I enjoy, which is draft. Do I prefer cards to be more magic-y? Generally, yes. But as long as it fits the theme overall and they are well-designed magic cards, no issues whatsoever. If they're going to print sillier, more exciting, fun things, I actually prefer it to be in secret layer form. I think it's the best way to do that. That way, the people that want to interact with it can go get it, and it's not going to pop up in a draft, right? So,
Right.
all the secret layer stuff within reason, I'm on board with. I got no issues with it. I know they recently revealed like the Office secret layer that's all Dwight Schrute variants. That definitely got some interesting responses. Personally, it's silly, and I don't know what it means for the bigger picture of Magic as a whole. But if you're gonna do it, that's the perfect place to do it, right? Do it in the secret layer. Have it be reprints. Have it be fun cards people want to get a hold of. Go crazy, right? It's just when they print it in a
100%.
full Magic set that's meant for drafting, where I'm going to be a little bit more scrutinous because I really care about the format. Like, is it fun to draft? So, like TMNT, a lot of the cards are very fun to play with. Yes, it has a lot of repetition in the pizza and the turtles. Every turtle has like 4 or 5 cards, so they pop up a lot in the draft. It can be a little confusing. But my main issue with the set is that it's a small set, right? It makes it harder to draft. It doesn't have 10 full archetypes. It only has the 5. Like, this could have been, with how fun the mechanics are, absolutely, it could have been a full set that I think I actually would have enjoyed. But because it's a small set, it has a pretty big asterisk that I'm just not going to do a lot of drafts of it because it's going to get old pretty quickly. So that's my thoughts. You said do you have the Deadpool card? The Commander Deadpool?
Yeah, Deadpool, the training card. Love it.
Yes, the one that switches his text box. By the way, In Search of Greatness is going to... I have no hand, so I can't cast something for free. And so I will scry, and I will keep this Weatherlight on top, because it's quite good. And then this may be absolutely shocking, but I am going to cast the Weatherlight as my card for turn. And then I'm going to get to crewing. I'm going to crew the Weatherlight with my commander. And I'm going to use one of the rebels to crew my Thundership Gunhawk. So these guys are now creatures.
Okay.
And then I have to move my boots with the fur to the Weatherlight so that it has haste. Any responses to that action?
I didn't say it in time when you first started.
Oh, did you want to
No,
on the cast?
you're good. You're good.
Because that's totally
You got
fair.
too much mana, so I'm not gonna mess with it.
I do, in
Yeah.
addition to what's already been used have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more mana available. Because I'm in green, and this is what we do in green.
Yeah.
I shall equip the Weatherlight with the Boots of the Fur, and then I shall move to combat. You have a 4/3 on the ground.
And then the 0/1 token that pings you. And that's it.
I think my correct move here is to leave back the Fanatic, because he's a 1/4 and he blocks particularly well. Oh, I actually need the mana. Okay, we'll leave back Llanowar Elves as well. And we're going to go to combat with the 2/2 that didn't crew the gunship, the Weatherlight, and the gunship. 2 triggers are going to happen. One, all of my attacking creatures are going to get flying, which really just makes the 2/2 have flying because everything else already did. But much more importantly, a creature that I am attacking with was crewed by my commander this turn, and therefore I may pay red, green, and 1 to give myself an extra combat. Now my vehicles, even though I'm tapping them to show you I'm attacking, have vigilance, but this 2/2 does not. So the 2/2 will only get to attack once, but these vigilant vehicles, assuming they live, will get a second round. And those are my declared attacks.
Okay.
It's
And
a
the
total
total
of 12
is
in the air.
12. Okay. And they're going to attack again, or
The vehicles will have the option to attack again, but first my Weatherlight will trigger for hitting you.
okay. Yeah, I have to unfortunately take it, so I'll take the 12. Mark me down from that.
Weatherlight
17.
trigger. I may reveal a historic permanent, and I shall reveal Duretti. I do believe I can. Yeah, historic card are legendaries. Duretti is a planeswalker that he's 4 mana, and his +2 is discard up to 2 cards and draw that many. Not very helpful when I have no hand. But his -2 is sack an artifact to return an artifact. So I can turn one of my dinky treasures or whatever into like a Thundership Gunhawk if that's in my graveyard. And then we will go, that goes to my hand. And we shall go to second combats. It's like second breakfast, but more vehicles and more manslaughtery. And I shall re-attack with my 10 flying vehicle power.
Okay. And that's 10 total from that.
Mm-hmm.
17. I am down to 7.
And I shall get a second
block
Weatherlight trigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I shall fail to find. That is another 4 lands.
Twice. Another whiff.
I don't want those lands, so it's kind of fine, but it's also like, how? And then I shall pass. I do not have red mana, so I cannot cast this Duretti that's in my hand.
Okay. I'm pretty sure. Yep. I'm going to be gracious, and I'm just going to bow and say you got it.
Very well.
Because you got too much mana for me to use my counter spell, and all I'm drawing into now is land blessings again.
No, that's not what we want to see. Yeah, I was actually really excited you assigned me a commander that I had never even considered building. I switch my decks pretty often. I move through commanders and I take apart decks and then rebuild them from the pieces. So red-green is actually a color pair I'm very comfortable with, but this was a fun, very different commander to build. I have never done a vehicle deck, so
It's one that's been in my binder, and I feel like was super underrated, mostly because that Final Fantasy set didn't have any vehicles. So I don't know if people just were like,
the whole set didn't have any vehicles, and they print. Oh, is this a commander only card?
Kind of, because Final Fantasy only had the Regalia as its one vehicle.
Oh, that's kind of wild then. Yeah, that makes for a weird limited environment, unless it wasn't from the limited. Was it like the Commander Precon or a Commander card?
No, that was just in the regular set.
So you could open a 4-mana... It wasn't the Ghost Train in the set?
Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. That's the second one.
Because that's the suplex, right? Like suplex's whole thing
Yeah,
is that you can suplex the
you
ghost
have the
train.
Ghost Train, and then I think there's maybe one other airship. But honestly, I think I don't think there's more than like four vehicles or something on there
Yeah,
in that entire set.
it's an interesting build around.
So it was weird to make a commander for that and be like, hey, its entire ability is working with that, but you're not going to want to use it in any deck that you build. Like, figure it out with other stuff.
Yeah, I would love to know if people who are watching, if there were in limited, since that's kind of my format of choice. I actually didn't play too much
Mhm.
Final Fantasy Limited. That was a set I took a break for. I had been playing a lot. I had some new things happening with work, and I needed to take a breather. So I actually took a breather for Final Fantasy, and it ended up being apparently an awesome draft environment. So if any of you guys in the chat drafted Final Fantasy, let me know if you thought it was a winner as well, and if there's anything you were able to do with this guy or this pair,
Personally,
rather.
I think it was my first one that I went to a pre-release for
Oh, that's always
and really
nostalgic.
stuck with. I pulled a VV, which is one of my favorite decks.
Whoa.
And yeah, before he got banned in the regular format, I didn't even realize. I was just like, cool, $80 card. Let's put that aside.
Mm-hmm.
And then built it probably about three sets after and was like, holy crap, now I get why.
Yeah, this that card's crazy. I would be shocked if it's not in this deck that you have piloting right now.
I didn't put it in here because I didn't have any extra copies and I didn't want to go into my expensive stuff. So this literally is like probably under $100 for this deck.
I'm gonna confidently say that my deck is not under $100 simply because it has a singular fetch land, a singular shock land, and like one or two other cards that just single-handedly make it more expensive. They're all cards that were in my vintage cube already, and I just went and put placeholders in and grabbed them because I took apart all of my commander decks to finish the vintage cube, and mainly that destroyed my mana base for all of my decks. Like most of my decks, I didn't take that many cards from. But the mana bases where I had all my triomes and my surveil lands and stuff like that, I had nothing. And I was like, I'm basically going to be playing a deck of just forests and mountains unless I take at least a couple from the commander from the vintage cube.
Yeah, I built this as a bunch of collaboration from just chaoticness.
Chaoticness, I
Um,
love.
so it's got everything from Spider-Man stuff in there. Most of the idea for this was this deck is going to get donated actually to the command post.
Yeah, you mentioned
Um,
that. What is the command post?
so command post is a group run by my buddy. His name in there is Ranger Pepe in our Discord. But he decided to make a group, and the command post is his actual name on here if anybody wants to check him out and follow. But he's a veteran that wants to give back to a lot of the community. So what he does is he has his group that will donate Magic the Gathering commander decks to rangers and stuff, to the veterans, not rangers, but to veterans. So any of them trying to find a hobby, get out there, because a lot of them with some PTSD, getting back into the civilians scene, this is a great outlet. This
Yeah.
for me, I feel like sometimes watching my children, I have PTSD, so this is fantastic to ignore everything. But he has put together a huge group. One of my first things on my original channel before it got deleted, I actually donated about 23 pounds worth of bulk. Every follower that I got during the 2 months I was doing it, I added about 30 cards to it. We ended up, I just weighed it and I was like, it's a small toddler. It was 23 pounds. The
That's a
UPS guy was struggling. Yeah. And he builds all these. He does everything out of his own spare time. He has his own life, kids, job, and everything, but it's his passion, the guy to give back. And he's been a big inspiration for me. So I figured a bunch of these blind commander challenges, I'm going to try and use up some of this jankiness, just get it out there. And then if it gets in the hands of some veteran and they're like, oh my God, I used to love watching Avatar. Oh, look at that Final Fantasy. I remember playing 3 with my brother or whatever. And they can have some fun, get into it, and upgrade it fairly easily.
Oh yeah, Agar is actually a great one for that because basically every set ever printed has cards that could go in it. Because any burn
Mm-hmm.
spell is probably playable in the deck, which is pretty cool. That's a really cool cause. Uh, I don't have a plan for this deck. It's got a lot of cards that I'm personally very attached to, across my history of playing
Yeah.
Magic. But my plan for this was after taking apart my vintage cube or building my vintage cube, I didn't actually have a functional commander deck for a while. And so this was an inspiration to actually make a deck. So I'm going to be going to Magic Vegas, and this is actually the deck that I'm going to be bringing and playing with people I run into, random pods, friends I make along the way, potentially viewers of my channel on
Yeah.
YouTube. So this deck's actually going to get a lot of play. And it has a cool story attached to it now that I got to play with it live off of a commander challenge and kind of go about it that way. So
I love it.
I'm
Tag
gonna be
me in and I wish you
posting.
the best of luck there.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna be posting this full deck list in my Discord as well. I have a pretty
Okay.
active community there. Like I said, TikTok is kind of a new area for me. I didn't
Yeah.
even have a personal TikTok. My first TikTok account was actually this one. I'm more of like a YouTube, Instagram Reels kind of person in my personally, but I know there's a lot of cool things here and it's a very interactive community, whereas some of those
Yeah.
other ones are a lot more kind of solo, sit and watch, that kind of thing. So it was exciting to
Yeah.
kind of get my feet wet into the TikTok thing. I don't know if I'll be doing too much more in the live space, but I'm absolutely going to be uploading these games to my YouTube. So that's exciting. And I'm going to continue on doing draft things there. Really curious. I don't feel like you could
Mhm.
really do a draft because of the way draft works on like a TikTok live unless you were using some other platform to do it virtually,
Right.
which is unfortunate,
I,
but it is fun for Commander. I got to set up my desk in a way I've never set it up before, so that you can see my
yeah.
cards and all those things. But it's pretty cool. And I really appreciate
Yeah.
you inviting me to do this. This was super fun. Or this is super
Hey,
fun.
I thank you a lot. It was really nice to play with you, learn about you and everything. I'll be definitely checking all of your media out and that. And I'm very jealous going to Vegas there. Have a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And I'll be
I
checking all your
went
stuff out.
my first ever Magic convention anything was Magic 30, which was in Vegas. And I
Mhm.
actually, kind of funny, had a terrible experience in Magic Vegas. Not really associated with the event itself, but my car got broken into, and I had to end up towing it back to Arizona,
Oh,
which is where I
jeez.
live. So that was pretty crazy. But that was obviously not what I would envisioned for my first convention. So I actually haven't gone to a convention since then. So Magic 30 was like 3 years ago, right? So this is
Mm.
my first kind of getting back into going to conventions, and I'm gonna be competing in something they're doing that's new called the Limited Championship Qualifier. Limited, of course, meaning it's going to be all draft and sealed, which is my forte. So
Nice.
normally those entry events you start with limited or sealed and then you go to the pro tour and you have to play a constructed format like standard or modern or pioneer, whatever format is the chosen pro tour. But for
Mhm.
this, if you win, instead of having to go play a constructed format, you'll just go play more draft. And so that is actually very enticing to me. So I will be competing in that, and then I'll be doing those on demand events as well. So if anybody who's watching this or watching this recording on YouTube either, if you're going to Vegas, you'll probably run into me. I'll be in a chef's outfit. I'll have my vintage cube, and I'll be trying to find people to draft with, meet, hang out with, all those things. So it'll be my first, full convention now that I've started the channel. So I'm super excited.
Awesome. Well, wish you all the best of luck with that. Had a lot of fun. I am going to sign off though. I gotta take
Cool.
care of a few things for tomorrow. But thank you again. This was
Yeah.
very fun.
Thank you so much for the challenge. This was a lot of fun, and now I have a commander deck that I'm gonna keep around for a while.
Beautiful. All right, buddy.
All right.
Keep cooking.
Thanks.